Hello everyone, my name is Heidi and welcome to my first The Sims 4 video. So, I have this idea of series where I both build houses from different games and create characters to live in them. It might become a whole save file in the future, but right now I'm just concentrating on building cool houses and just chatting about them and what they mean to the game and the characters. I wanted to start with Uncharted 4 because lately it's been a lot on my mind. I honestly don't remember why, but you know. It just has a lot of fun bantering, good dialogue, amazing adventures. So it's just a lot of fun. Both Nate and Elena are also pretty good characters. So I'm going to start the series with creating them and then later build their first home in the Uncharted 4 game. So, Nate was actually pretty easy to create compared to Elena. I see Nate as a self-assured character because even though I noticed that Nate tends to be the one who backs away in the middle of adventure when the stakes get too high, he's still the one who gets the most excited about treasures and is pretty nerdy about history and mysteries. Or I should say that it's more of a geek trait which I also gave him, but he's pretty self-assured with all those facts he just knows by heart when trying to find treasures. I'm reconsidering ambitious trait because maybe Nate is more like going on adventures for the sake of mystery rather than his own fame type. I mean, getting rich and famous wasn't his goal, it was just figuring out mysteries and finding something legendary. I actually would have given him archaeologist aspiration if I had had a jungle adventure when I created him, but I didn't. So I figured collector of everything the world has to offer is quite accurate. Maybe even more so than the archaeologist when I think about it. He's more of a collector. That reminds me of the scene in the fourth game where he and Sam breaks into the manor to find their mom's old diary and the old lady told them she's the collector of sorts. I think that's also quite fitting description to Nate. Even collecting treasures is one of the aspects of the games and we find different trinkets all around the world. So we basically become collectors ourselves when we play as Nate. So, back to the character creation. It was actually quite easy to mimic Nate's face and I even found perfect clothes for him pretty fast. It was basically finding fitting blue shirt and beige pants and some good hiking boots. Only thing that I had a little bit hard time finding was the shade of blue of Nate's shirt, but that's a small thing. I also decided to show you guys when I choose his formal outfit because in Uncharted 4 Nate has the same version of that fancy suit when they're at the auction with Sully and Sam. Also, I gave both Elena and Nate all of their different outfits and included to the final version their home attires too, but I ended up removing those parts from this video because they were nothing special and the video would have been way too long to watch. So if you end up playing with Nate and Elena, you got the whole set ready. So Elena was actually pretty painful to create. I just couldn't get her face right and fix it at least 100 times. I also ended up changing the eyes to the ones with no eyelashes because The Sims 4 has pretty heavy eyelashes and Elena has almost none. She's quite a natural looking woman actually. I could have used some CC photo lashes, but I wanted to make my characters CC free so it would be easier to find them on the gallery and everyone could play with them without having to worry they're missing hair or pants or something. So CC would have made finding fitting hair for Elena easier too actually. For Nate there was perfect hair right away, but there weren't any matching ones, with Elena's loose bangs on other side and a small ponytail / bun. Anyway, I don't have all expansion, game or stuff packs, so if there is actually a better hair for Elena, feel free to use that if you want to play with her. So first I ended up using the hair with a braid on one side of head, but at the end of the video you can see me fixing up both the face and hair, and I ended up using the hair with bangs on both sides of face. Like my boyfriend said, Elena is an adventurous and brave character, so the hair with braid looked a little bit too upside for her. And the loose bangs suit much better for her character, even when it's still not the hair Elena has. But out of all options though, it was the most fitting with Elena vibe. But as you can see, the thumbnail still had the old hair, so I really did change it a lot later, so that's how much the hair and face bothered me. So her clothes were also a little bit harder to find. I ended up changing the shirt at the end of the video too. In the end I used the looser top instead of the tight one, even though the color of the looser one, it isn't quite right. But once again, it is pretty hard to create an accurate replica of something in The Sims 4, especially when there aren't all the same colors in all clothes. But maybe that's good because then there's more variety, but maybe not. Don't know. Makes it harder to choose the clothes though. Anyway, as I said before, Elena is quite a natural looking woman and her clothing style in the fourth game is pretty easygoing and loose. It looks like she's going more for the comfort than style. For Elena's traits, I chose ambitious because she's always there where serious stuff happens and she wants the best scoop. If there was an option for brave trait, that would have been perfect. She knows the stakes are high, yet she's still there in the middle of the action and is also super excited to get right in the middle of it. I love how they also show that she's not completely unfazed when the situation gets serious, and you can see there are moments she's scared for her and it's alive, but she still goes on. She's also there to encourage Nate onwards when he's starting to have doubts. So I feel like ambitious is pretty accurate, but also maybe self-assured. I didn't want to keep her completely same traits as for Nate though, so I ended up choosing good as one of the traits, or was it actually outgoing? But I would like to change it around and make Elena ambitious, self-assured and creative maybe, because of her journalist carries, so it would fit. And for Nate it could be maybe self-assured, geek and a bookworm, because he's pretty book smart guy. But those aren't the traits I ended up choosing that you can see in this video, and now that I look at it, these would be that I just said would be much better. I think I might change them to the final version actually. There's also one fun fact. When I was creating Elena, I of course tried to look for some pictures online of her and noticed that in some pictures from earlier games she had blue or grey eyes, but in the fourth game she has brown eyes, and maybe even the third one actually. I'm not sure if that's how it actually is, and they ended up changing Elena's eye color, but I just happened to see that in one of the pictures. So that's why at first I gave her blue eyes. It's pretty weird when games do that, or when any format does that actually. I have seen it before too, where the younger version of the character has different eye color than the older one, and it's just strange. But I'm the person who can't get over the fact that Harry's eyes in Harry Potter movies aren't green like if the books describe them, and that would have been fine, but then I noticed that Lily's actor doesn't have the same eye color as Harry's actor, and that's just annoying. They even say in the third movie how Harry's eyes are like his mother's, and they are completely different. But yes, just so this isn't becoming a Harry Potter rant, I'll stop right here. I just wanted to explain why changing someone's eye color in the middle of series is a little bit weird in my opinion. I mean, real people don't just change their eye colors unless they use contacts or something. But I think Elena looks pretty with both blue and brown eyes, but it is kind of weird maybe. Okay, I think we are close to the end of the video. in the end, I think I managed to capture their basic looks quite well, especially with Nate. But Elena ended up looking nice enough too, but I'm not that happy with her. Maybe I'll end up fixing her up once again when I build their beach house after the first suburban one. I mean, this normal life house they have. But yeah, I think then I'm going to update their whole family and make it bigger as it is then. So, here they are. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and comment down below and see you in the next video. Bye!